Welcome to Amateur Hour 42, special Monday night edition. Ryan's feeling a little under the weather, so no fun cast, just amateur hour tonight because there's a big amateur sports thing coming up here.
The NIT.
Starting the NIT. Every Cyclones fan dream is K-State versus Iowa State getting paired up in the first round of that thing.
Legit,
Cool.
I might root for the referees in that one, Trent.
Oh yeah, just make it ugly. But yeah, as you can probably hear, I feel a little congested as well. So just drinking my medicine ball, feeling good.
You said before the show you didn't think it was COVID. I think I know what you're sick of.
What's that?
Sick of no college basketball today.
Sick of it. One day without it.
Disgusting.
Man,
We had it.
I consumed a
every
lot of basketball this past weekend.
Yeah. How much of that was Iowa State? How much outside of Iowa State?
I watched. Trying to think of what games. I watched multiple games. I just can't remember what ones they were. Purdue and was it Wisconsin? Yeah, had money on Purdue. Thanks. Now I have to fade Purdue forever now. God.
I chose the 1 year to root on Kansas for like 6 games, and I went 1-5. Just against the spread and just straight up. It was a bad year for me with betting Kansas.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have them going very far in my bracket because you can't win with 6 players. But it's Bill Self. He'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they're right on that fringe of like they played like shit. They got injuries. And they drew Samford, which was what was going to be their kryptonite this year. Why did we beat them in Hilton? If you can shoot the 3, you're going to beat them. And, I mean, Samford is exactly that team. So they got a bit of a tough draw.
Yep, for sure. And then, they got to play their Gonzaga, who is a giant fraud every year, or McNeese State in the second round. So they're looking pretty good to get to the Sweet 16.
Gonzaga?
No, KU.
Oh, KU.
Gonzaga ain't winning nothing, them frauds. Come on. You know me.
This is the year, though, where everyone loves this McNeese State. They've been predicted to be the Cinderella story with how they play for so long. We have an underrated Gonzaga. Oh, they're the worst Gonzaga we've seen because they've been 1 seeds before. This one worries me. I picked Gonzaga simply because it's like, they're not going to let a Cinderella story with Will Wade in this 30-3 McNeese State. Like, this will be the year where they're the 5 seed, and everyone's doubted them. Everyone says you're not even a top 4 seed, and they're going to get pissed.
Yep. Yeah, you might be right there, but I'm picking McNeese State. Fade Gonzaga as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yep.
I can get behind it, but I wouldn't say should we just get into our bracket from hell, the Beast region?
What's wrong with it? Haven't heard anything.
Oh, you haven't heard. Every
wait. Before we talk about that, should we talk about another tournament that happened last weekend? One that we will enjoy talking about.
We why the hell do we want to forget about that? Yeah, let's get to it about the Big 12 tournament, man.
Dude, what a performance by Iowa State in those 3 games. Iowa State had lost their offense for about a month and came alive. And if you match good offense with that defense, man, look out, because look what happened to Houston.
Yeah. They did not look like themselves. I know they had a couple injuries and they weren't quite 100%. Sorry, that's basketball. How many times have we gotten to a point where we don't have a player? I mean, look how much we got destroyed in our rankings because we had injuries at the wrong time, which was earlier in the year, and we lost our few non-con games that were above 300. No one's going to act like our non-conference was strong, but we didn't have Hassan Ward for 3 games in that little bit of a stretch. A little bit more than that, but like 3 games that everyone looked at and goes, oh, well, they're terrible, instead of now when Hassan's healthy, everyone's healthy, and we beat the number 1 team by 28 points.
Yep. Yeah, man, Milan found it as well. Holy cow, that
Yes.
championship game,
Finally.
that play when he was just getting harassed in the corner behind the three-point line, he, like, spun, collected his feet, and did, like, a fadeaway three-pointer from the that was nuts. Hopefully, that gives him the confidence he
Yep.
found it.
You know what it makes me think, man, is in seeing him in that game, he he looked like he was smiling and actually having a good time out there for the first time probably in
Yeah.
a month, man.
Yeah.
He's had so many low percentage, low point games not being involved, and now all of a sudden he has multiple double digit point games and he's made all Big 12.
Yeah, yeah, all tournament teams, crazy.
Sorry, all
Yeah,
tournament
good for
teams.
him.
Yeah, I would say really happy to see how he played all of the games. I was really happy to see how well not only the offense was moving, because if our offense is going to succeed, we have to have that ball movement. Where I saw it was an incredible amount of they're moving the ball around, and all of a sudden they get the exact right pass to Hassan. I don't know if it's once they feel the double coming on,
Mhm.
but immediately, I mean, he had how many dunks in that tournament,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, they should just do that all the time, it's easier. Just dunk it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
dunk. That's what Purdue does.
Inst
They shoot threes
yeah,
and they dunk a basketball. That's
instead of
it.
getting shots blocked all the time, just dunk it.
I'm gonna write that down, and then when I applied for a basketball coach job, that's what I'm gonna tell them. Score more points. Don't get your shot blocked, and I think I might get hired on the
Yeah,
spot.
just dunk it. Just
Yeah, me 5'8", never had more than a 14-inch vertical. Just dunk it, dude. Duh. Yeah,
It's that easy.
just tell the 6'11" guy who's more athletic in his one arm than I am in my entire fucking
Yep,
body. Just dunk it,
just dunk
man.
it. Whatever.
Just dunk it. Also, and I mean, I know they were both all tourney teams, so it's pretty easy to say, but we had amazing guard
Yeah.
play the whole tournament, man. Cujo was hitting shots. Gilbert was playing well in defense. He was getting what can bite us in the ass in this upcoming NCAA tournament is he can get a little frantic and he can get a little like
Yeah.
spastic out there. And sometimes it's like, whoa, come back to
Mhm.
reality. If we don't need that jump, if we have, I think it was like a 8-point lead, or I can't remember what it was, but then he started going like he was still in playmaker mode. It's like, well, we just run our offense, man. We're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. You don't need to force it.
Yeah, he gets a little out of control when he gets sped up. Yeah, just
Hmm.
slow down.
And well, the one good thing he does have going for him is he's not the number one flopper in the Big 12, though.
Hey,
So
we got him though. Damon. Dude,
seriously,
Jerome.
we were talking about the NIT game earlier. I legitimately will root hard for Iowa just because Jerome Ting is that much of a douchebag, man.
I thought that same thing. I'm like, I think I want to see Iowa win this. I just want to hear
Do you know?
the excuse.
Yeah. Do you know how bad you have to act for me to go? Fran is the more normal coach, the one with the even keel, head on his shoulders, and I'm gonna root for him because of it.
Yeah.
That's how bad Jerome Tang's been acting, man.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a bigger crybaby. Well, hey, why do you think we have this podcast? Half the time we're just crying about our losses, referees, whatever. We're amateurs. What's the name of the show? Amateur
Yeah.
Hour. And we have a professional coach name dropping people, making false claims about racism, cheating, doing the flyby handshake by
Bill
to Bill
Self.
Self, and Bill's like, yeah, I guess we don't handshake when we lose. I guess I don't know. We did when we lost,
Yeah.
but I mean, you know how bad. Like he went from media darling, Elite Eight to like, all right, he's building something there. To when you don't have multiple NBA players on your team that can just force a shot and win. Once you got to get to the X's and O's part of
Yeah.
it, he kind of sucks ass at his job.
Yeah. It's just so funny, when they win, man, he just beats his chest. We're the best. And then we lose. Well, the refs didn't call the game real well. There was a lot of Iowa State fans. It's almost like a home game for them. It's like,
Yeah,
come on.
they're technically closer, but that's
Yeah.
besides the
Yeah.
point. That was the big hubbub all tournament was everyone online going, "Well, it is such a close game." It's like, okay, so are we going to move from Dallas the football game since now our two biggest brands that forced it to be in Dallas? Are we going to start moving that to Las Vegas or wherever now? We're going to do it in Mile High Stadium because it's in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to think of it that way. Well, then keep it in Dallas because it's rightfully in the middle, and we need football in the heartland.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's only Iowa State. It's like if you want to make an impression on the Big 12, why don't you start selling out other tournaments or showing your fan support so he might listen to? But do you think they're going to see multiple days of Iowa State fans selling that fucker out, making a home field advantage? The whole stadium is sold out. Yeah, we should move arenas so that
Yeah.
people that aren't going to pay tickets and go visit there aren't going to go
Yeah,
anyways.
it's crazy that your Mark signed that through 31 to 2031, I think, in Ames, and it'd be interesting,
Yep.
like if that goes to all the people want it in Vegas. Well, sorry, the new teams in the Big 12 want it in Vegas. It's like, why are
Yeah.
you calling the shots? And number two, put it in Vegas and see who comes. It isn't going to be like it is in Kansas City, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, and you know how many people took screenshots? It's like, okay, well, here was us at UNLV, and the crowd it's not full because it was a brand new Allegiant
Yep.
Stadium, and it was UNLV that were playing, and it was still 80-20 Iowa State
Yep.
fans. So it's like, and then you get hit with well, there's nothing to do in the States. Like, so are we bad for going to support our team, or what the fuck's the
Yeah, it's
problem?
like if you watch Twitter, it was just a bunch of opposing fans and fan bases like they're such losers. Nah, going. It's like
Yeah.
no, go. If you were winning, you wouldn't go. Okay, well, we care less. I think I tweeted that we care less chant from K State. We care less. It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah, that's why we don't win is because we also don't have fan support and we're bad. It's well, Elite Eight. It's like no offense, unless you're Kansas and winning national titles. Same thing as when we're talking about Sweet 16. No one really gives a
Yeah,
fuck because there's no guarantee into this in the biggest. Hey, there's going to be the most upsets in this tournament, man. Like it doesn't really matter unless you're winning the national championship. Really, I would say Final Four. It's Final
yeah.
Four that people give a shit about, or your fan base Elite Eight underneath is going to be like, "Well, we made the tournament. Oh, Elite Eight if we're Kansas State." It's like, okay, cool. Well, you didn't. You're in the NIT now
Hmm.
this year, and we're consistently going to the tournament year after year. So either get more excited about your school, start paying more into your NIL so you can buy more players so you can win these games, or just shut the fuck up and just enjoy it on TV if you don't want to go. That's fine, but like if you're gonna watch it from home, who gives a shit if it's in Kansas City or it's on the moon?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and then just shit on the fans that go there and have fun. Like you've been to
Yeah.
it, I've been to it. It's a blast.
Oh, it's a blast. Yeah. You wouldn't want to go to a power and light district where it's bar after bar, all of you're surrounded by hundreds of people like-minded like you. And then also you can actually celebrate with the players' families. Oh, and it looks like Shaq is
Yeah,
DJing. Yeah, that sounds like a terrible time. Who would want to go there except for fucking losers
lame,
when your team wins the tournament?
lame. Yeah, your team just won the
Fucking
tournament.
idiot.
Go and act like you don't care. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. The we don't care, we don't
Yeah.
care. Just stupid, man. But no, it felt good. Iowa State double digits over Baylor. I mean, we'll never play that well of a game versus, excuse me,
No.
Houston again. They're going to remember
No.
it. But I'll be honest. After all that, and then still getting the 2 seed, the more I've thought about it, obviously it was instant anger. Even though I told myself after that game, it's like we're locked in at 2. It doesn't matter what happens. North Carolina's a 1, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, but the resumes are close." I was like, "Fuck!" I was looking at the numbers; they were pretty fucking close,
Yeah.
dude. The only difference was we won our conference tournament and beat 2 ranked teams by double digits, and North Carolina lost to their in-state rival because they couldn't beat North Carolina State at 10,000 plus 10,000 odds to win the ACC
Yep.
tournament. Weren't even going to be on the bubble.
The 11
I
seed
mean,
in the ACC tournament.
oh my bad. Yeah, it's still double digit seed, man. Just
Yeah.
fucking. That was the one thing that irked me. But it's like again, if we had Kansas on our jersey, we would be a
Oh,
solid 1 seed, and no one would give a shit. But
100%.
it's brands.
100%. Yep.
You know, it was one that really pissed me off. I'm gonna see if I can find the photo and share it. But did you see the official March Madness Twitter page?
I don't know if I did. I don't know what you're talking about.
The reason I'm asking is because there's a photo, and again, this is stuff where it's like it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but if you're going to talk about how Iowa State is a brand and why they didn't get the 1 seed, there's a photo of like just cartoons of players from different schools. Like one of them was Duke, one of them was North
Uh-huh.
Carolina, one of them was Kansas, and it was all these brand names. And literally, everyone's going, "Why are there two number 1 seeds and number 2 seed, but there's multiple 4 seeds?" Here we go. I finally got it pulled up. Like literally they didn't give a shit about any small brands. They're like, "Hey, who cares if it's even Iowa State? Hey, here's Houston, consensus number 1 pretty much all year. Hey, here's Tennessee, who's playing an exciting brand of basketball, and they're a big name. Nope, we got to make sure that Marquette and the Purdue, and it was just basically the East Coast name brands that they were putting
Yeah,
on there.
that doesn't surprise me.
No, and it shouldn't, and that's where it says, like, Bryant, should you be shocked that they don't give a shit about the Midwest team that plays hard defense and probably isn't the most exciting brand of basketball? No, it should me, and yet here we were on Selection Sunday, and I'm getting pissed because we're only a 2 seed. Like, if you would have told us 2 seed at the beginning of the year, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, you're lying. But like
Yeah,
you know, we just got to learn to accept it. But yeah, do you see it on there now?
yeah, yep. Kansas,
Yeah,
Duke, Purdue, Marquette, Kentucky,
oh,
Yukon, North Carolina, and Arizona. Yeah,
Arizona,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah. Something like that, it's very minor, but it's also like, yep, I can see why we didn't get any benefits of that because they're having someone create a photo, before very, very obviously, and they specifically choose those 8 brands.
yep. Shocking.
Yeah, not shocking one bit here,
Yep.
man.
Yeah. When I was watching the selection show, Iowa State was selected in the first bracket they did, and they're like going down the thing like Yukon number 1, and it keeps going down, and it gets down to like the 2 seed, and I see it's Omaha, and I'm like, this is gonna be Iowa State. It's gonna be in this bracket, and I think this was probably just about everybody's um, reaction to that.
Yeah,
Can you see it, right?
I can see it. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Yes,
That was it, man.
yeah.
God.
It was just one of these. Again, we shouldn't be too upset. We're still 2 seed, but it was just one of these.
Exactly.
Someone said it. I got my hopes built up, and then we just let it run amok. Even though it's like you're still in Omaha, you still get to play 2 exciting matchups. For us, you get to play your South Dakota State Jackrabbits, and then we
Yep.
get to play an in-state Drake. I mean, like those are fun matchups. Or honestly, like if Wazoo is the one that comes through, we can get basketball revenge on a school that beat us in the Alamo Bowl, man. Like we can come up with
Yep.
any storyline to get pissed off.
I told Katrina there will be no Jackrabbit gear in this house this week.
No, no Jackrabbits.
They're
The
the
ears
bad
are
guys
not
this
up
week.
this week.
No, ears are down
Ears are
until
down.
Friday or till Thursday at about 10 o'clock p.m. Then it's fine. Then back to South Dakota State football because the basketball team is going to be done.
I love it's like, hey, NCAA tournament if it was better basketball or if it was better football schools, and people chose South Dakota State. I'm like, I'm not even that upset. Like
Yeah.
they're a national champion, and when would we have played them in the beginning of the year? And guess what? When we fuck up most of our season at the beginning of the year anyway. So like,
Yep.
sure, whatever.
Yep. Did you see there was a tweet? It was like Iowa State's first 2 games is potentially the 2020 season, the messed up football games. Like Iowa State, South Dakota State was the
Yep.
Lightning game. They played 4 minutes. Then they played Drake in that just rain-soaked, shitty game where Drake almost won. And then they
Almost
played Washington State,
man.
in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, well, rip Mike Leach. That was probably one of his last bowl games.
Yeah.
Now I like this one by Spence. He just posted it in here for the tournament here. Is Houston or Iowa State's defense going to be worse off with the tournament officiating? What do you think, Trent? I'm gonna.
So my opinion on that is, I think in the tournament, at least the first few rounds, they're going to let them play, and they're going to let Houston and Iowa State play that defense because that's their brand, that's their MO. It's just like West Virginia was for years under Huggins. They pressed you the whole game and never got fouls called because that was their brand. So hopefully, like, that's their reputation. They won't get called for it because that's just their hard defense. So,
Yeah.
I hope it's Houston to answer the question, I guess.
If you want to know who I think it realistically is going to be Iowa State. We get a little too sloppy with it, and I think in the Big 12 tournament we got away with a lot of calls. It's like, that's Big 12 basketball. It's like, yeah, but I think Houston's way more, I guess, disciplined. I guess is the way I'd say it. I think we're going to be worse off now if they let us play. Fine. But also, if we have that offense humming like it was in the Big 12 tournament, it's not going to matter how many fouls, to be honest. We're going to be able to outscore them anyways. And the few times, it's like the Legion of Boom. Remember? They said, we hold every time because you're not going to call it every time. Well, we're going to keep fouling because you're not going to call it every time.
Yep.
So
now everybody was, Iowa State's side of the bracket there. The East is a gauntlet. It's tough.
Yeah.
But, everybody's complaining about that on Twitter, and my mindset was, no matter how you fill this out, somebody's got to win it.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not Iowa State?
And it's just one of these where, like, if we go through the most ideal matchup, Iowa State, South Dakota State, the spread's 16.5.
Yep.
I know that doesn't mean anything about performance, but again, the last two games that we've seen have beaten the top 3 seed and the number 2 overall seed by, what was that average out to, 20 points? We're going to be fine with South Dakota State. If we hit a hot Drake and they call the game a certain way, that might be trouble, but I think we're going to be just fine there. I legitimately think Drake's going to have a way better shot at winning that game than Wazoo is. The next round, that's the one where it's going to terrify me a little bit, because I believe that's going to be, we could potentially play. Is that BYU, or would we have to? Yeah, it's either going to be BYU or Illinois. Because if we play one of those other two teams, we're automatically in the Elite Eight. I don't care. The Moorhead State could have the best game of their years. Duquesne,
Moorhead State sounds great.
Moorhead. Yeah,
sounds
like a good time.
Yeah, I would love to play them in the Sweet 16. So huge Moorhead State fan.
Would you rather play Moorhead State or Sloppy Top University? I think I said the same thing twice. Never mind.
You can't make me laugh, man. I start coughing.
No, I apologize, but I mean, going through it, BYU they would terrify me if we played them a fucking third time with how they play hit that 3 ball, and again how it's going to be called, because when was the only time we beat them? We got down by 19 points and we beat them because we were in Hilton. We know 100% it's because we had the crowd on our side. Yeah. And, in Illinois on the other side, they have that Shannon Jr. that scores 30 to 40 points a game, it seems like, man. Now, I think with the Illinois matchup, our guards are going to be able to do just fine. They're going to do enough. They're not going to be able to stop a guy like that. But I would be more terrified if we played BYU in the Sweet 16, because that means they've been playing hot, than I would if we played Illinois.
I 100% agree with that. Now that you've talked about the point spread, the 16.5 point spread, I shouldn't even say this word. I'm trying to find the Iowa State Hampton point spread from 2021, from 2001.
But then in that year as well, and and I guess I don't quite remember that year. Were we more of an offensive juggernaut and we were just scoring points,
Yeah.
or was it
Well,
more
then,
we had defense and
yeah. I mean, with Jamal Tinsley and Marcus Pfizer, they
yeah,
were scoring.
yeah, exactly. And that's what was the issue with every Hoiberg team? It would be like
No
it
defense.
it would go two, 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 two. Hopefully, you got a three at some point, and they missed one shot, and we would just keep. It's kind of Iowa basketball right now. Let's just keep the scoring going, and eventually they're going to miss, but we're not.
Yep.
That's what you're hoping for, compared to the now that I've seen it, I appreciate way more defense. Even last year, like the tournament games suck, obviously, but having way more defense, and you could go on a 6 point run, and you're in any game at that point when you're playing
Yep.
that hard of a defense.
I'm trying to find. So I did find that spread here.
Really? Well, I guess
Yep.
they would. I guess Vegas would always have it. It's just you couldn't bet on it legally.
Exactly. Like it's a little harder to find. I feel like because 23 years ago, sports betting. Whew, that was bad. So I'm trying to compare it to this year, the
Hmm.
15 versus 2 seed. So in 2001, Iowa State was a 17-point favorite with an over under of 145. And this year, they're 16 and a half point favorite with an over under of 135.5. So,
All right. Now, real quick, speaking of while we're in our bracket, did you hear about how BYU was seated? They should have been seated higher, but because they're Mormon and they don't play on Sunday, they had to seed them differently for the playing day.
yeah, they can't play on Sunday.
So, like, we're playing another team that shouldn't have been where they're at. They should have been higher ranked, but instead got knocked down because of religion.
So, are they going to like mess with the schedule the whole tournament? Just like, oh God, if they win, this week,
I
you
guess
know,
they would. I mean, I'm assuming with it being religion, they're going to be more willing to switch stuff around.
yep.
But I mean, I'm trying to even think the next weekend. I think the next weekend it wouldn't matter. Because
Well, they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday the next weekend too.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm sorry. I was looking at point spreads. So
Now they'd have to be in the Elite Eight, but that ain't probably going to happen. Let's be real.
oh no, Spence grew up around that, and he said he couldn't jump on the trampoline on Sundays. That was his punishment. Oh,
Mow his yard.
I'll be real honest. When I saw the jump on trampoline, I thought that was another form of soaking. When you have your
Better not,
buddy,
yeah. Better not be
you have your
soaking.
well, I mean, you've heard about it where your buddy lays underneath the bed and then while you're laying in, just kicks the bed and causes the rhythm. Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
you'd heard of that. I wanted to make sure because I didn't want to make sure we didn't have another yiffing situation from
No,
last week.
I know what soaking is. I've heard of that. I heard the term.
It's like the
Yeah.
one joke that everyone knows about Mormons now.
Yeah,
So
I don't know anything else about them besides they can't play basketball on Sundays.
yeah,
But
apparently
that's it.
didn't. Yeah,
So yeah, the
well,
women's tournament, the
mhm.
women's Big 12 tournament, they played like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or no, they played Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday. And I'm like, why don't they play Sunday? And then it's like, oh, they couldn't play any games on Sunday, the whole conference, because of BYU.
Really.
Because look at the women's Big 12 tournament schedule. There was no Sunday games.
Well, I knew there's no Sunday games. And I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's just like mandatory time off because you get so far in a tournament, a rest day or something.
No, it was BYU.
Hmm.
Didn't matter in the men's because it went Tuesday through Saturday,
Yeah.
so it didn't matter. But the women's, it did.
So do they not allow any? Well, no, because we played on Sunday this year. Just BYU couldn't,
Yeah,
and maybe I guess through conference affiliation now that's a
but
stipulation.
it's if it's just like say a basketball game, you're not scheduled against them. It doesn't matter. But in the tournament, you don't know if BYU is going to make it to that day
So
or
they
not.
have to
So they
plan
have to
like
just
they will.
nothing. Yes.
Interesting. Well, we're learning something here, dude.
Yep. That's why people come to this podcast.
Yeah, to learn. To learn is we're learning it as well.
Yeah. The
God,
more you know.
I'm sorry. I'm just re-looking at the top of the East bracket. Number 1, UConn, defending champion. An 8-9 game featuring Florida Atlantic, previous year's Final Four member. 5 seed San Diego State, last year's runner-up.
Yep.
And then Auburn, who is currently ranked higher than us in Ken Palm. I think they're 4th ranked in Ken Palm, and they're a 4th seed.
Yeah.
We currently for our bracket, we have the number 1 ranked 1 seed. We have the number 1 ranked 2 seed. We have the number 1 ranked 3 seed, and we have the number 1 ranked 4 seed. In Ken Palm.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we have the highest ranked 5 and 6 too. Like, I've just never seen a tournament get so stacked, man.
Like I said,
you know,
you can't play the games. Somebody's got to win.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of those, like, the after the Big 12 tournament, let's play UConn right now. Let's get the toughest one out of the way. I feel like we can play that well.
If they could have played UConn on Sunday, I would have said
it would have been a match.
Yeah.
But going back to that real quick, what pisses me off is, like, what looks like when we looked at this bracket, they had decided everything by the beginning of the weekend because they assumed that this tournament wasn't going to change anything. Then Iowa State goes way above expectations with their last two wins versus Baylor and Houston, as well as there's so many bid stealers. They were more concerned about getting the bid stealers in the right location, it felt like, than Iowa State being the bottom ranked 2 seed after being the only one to win its tournament.
Yep.
And what concerns me more, man, is, like, if you look at, like, say we lose to Baylor, I guess Baylor would be the 2 seed and we would have been the 3 seed. Do you see how easy of a route that Baylor has? They have the worst ranked number 1 team.
Yeah.
Let's go through their 1 through 5. North Carolina, weakest 1 seed. 2 Arizona, solid. I'll give them that. 3 Baylor.
Yep.
4 Alabama, which is all offense, no defense, and then 5 St. Mary's, who couldn't win the West Coast.
Frauds, just like Gonzaga.
And number 6 Clemson, who's best known for crying about the net not going in their favor.
Yeah.
Jesus, I wish we were in that. I'm pretty sure I have Baylor going to at least the Elite Eight because it's just like, how do you not in that conference? Or I'm sorry, in that region.
I have them losing to Arizona just because Baylor.
Well,
they get there, they choke. What's that?
That'll still be Sweet 16, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and again, with where they were this year, and they're competing early on, and then they're kind of just the top of the middle, bottom of the top of the middle in that. I don't want to above average rank. I don't know how to say it. The good, but not Iowa State, Houston. There we go. That's probably the best way I can say it. But, like, where they were all year to land that seeding, I mean, fucking incredible, dude.
Can I get a stat in here that Joey's he loves this?
Hey,
Nebraska's never won an NCAA tournament game in men's basketball. It changes this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to beat Texas A&M. Fred Hoiberg is going to lead them to a victory, first ever. It's so convenient that they're going to be playing the school that their athletic director just left for. Just, oops. The committee didn't mean to do that.
Oh, also, by the way, this was the first year, like, at least with March Madness, this is the first year I go, oh, this is just the NIT, like, or not NIT, the college football playoff. We're just trying to get the best rankings because you're not going to tell me that both individual conferences both happen to end up getting seeded with the same school that their athletic director, and this is not a TV product. You're not going to tell me that, man.
Are you talking about the men's and the women's?
Yeah, both men's and women's Nebraska teams are both playing Texas A&M. You're going to tell me that with not only the old Big 12 tie-ins from there, but their AD leaves and everything else. And now you're going to tell me that both coincidentally end up playing them? Like, no, shut the hell up, man.
Oops.
How did that happen? Oh, crazy. How did the 8 seed FAU, who was in the Final Four, gets to play UConn in the second round? And then if everything goes correctly, we can potentially see San Diego State, who played him in last year's national championship. Oh my God.
Yeah, or you get, how do we get Iowa State? Oops, they're playing South Dakota State. TJ Otzelberger used to coach there.
Oh, and then the next round, they happen to play the
Drake?
only other team from their state, potentially?
Huh. And same thing in the women's. Did you see? So Iowa State plays Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland's head coach used to be an assistant at Iowa State, and it's Iowa State legend Stacey Freeze's sister.
Who would have thought? Wow.
Oops.
Oops, how's that? Speaking of, like, if we're going to talk about getting screwed in our brackets and everything else, as much as we want to complain about Iowa State fans, Iowa women's have way more to bitch about than us, man.
Yeah.
You're the number 2 overall seed, and you get UCLA, which just a solid team. That solid 2. I don't think there's any tie-ins there. Number 3, LSU, who you played in the national championship last year. 4, Kansas State, who you've played twice already. Somehow in the non-con, you've played them twice, and it's a rubber match. And, this is to tie the series. 5, Colorado, and then I think it was like 6, Louisville. It's like, you're not going to fucking tell, because you get to Texas's bracket. It's Texas and Stanford, and including us, there's nobody else in there.
Yeah.
Unless we outperform and perform a miracle versus the number 2 Stanford, there's no one besides those two. South Carolina, they're trying to get the best matchups, obviously, in the Final Four with South Carolina over here, LSU, Iowa on this side, UConn, Stanford. They're trying to get the biggest brands far away from each other, except for Iowa, who got the toughest top 6 seeds.
Yep. Speaking of getting the best matchups and everything in the Final Four, did you see Shannon Sharp's men's and women's Final Four? Like, this dude works for ESPN. He is supposed to study this stuff and make an educated guess. Just all 1 seeds, men's and women's. No 2 seeds, 8 1 seeds.
I'm pretty sure, and maybe this was a troll, I did see Stephen A's, and it was all 1 seeds except for Texas A&M, a 9 seed. It's like, you're going to go chalk except for a 9 seed?
I respect that more than Shannon's.
True. Yeah, exactly. If I had to choose one to respect. Because also, I think it's been like 2008. Like, it's possible, but that was the last time you've seen 4 number 1 seeds.
Yeah, and it ain't going to be Texas A&M because Nebraska's beating them in the first round.
Exactly. Hoyball. I think that might be Joey's nightmare. Nebraska winning with an Iowa State legend at the helm.
And then his team losing in the NIT.
Oh my God. Like I said, legitimately, I'm going to be cheering so hard for Iowa because Kansas State has just run through. Usually, us, man. We're losers about this with conference pride. We're going to go all Big 12 all the way. And it's like, fuck Kansas State, man. They're just whiny online, and then after everything this year, with the last straw was complaining about going to Kansas City, closer to you, about we're not going to get into it again, but it's like, that was the last straw. Like, all of the Big 12 rah, except for Kansas State, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And it's half of it's more than half. It's just the coach. Like, just handle yourself, dude.
Sorry, I was reading Ryan's comment about the LSU side of it for the women's tournament. And again, I mean, what kind of bullshit, you put LSU in about any other bracket other than South Carolina, and I think you have a very good shot at just running the table as well. And you happen to just land them in Iowa's bracket for I guess it would be Elite 8 game, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So when can LSU play South Carolina again? Is it in the Final Four or is it in the championship game?
It would be in the championship game.
Oof. After that fight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just double checking. Yep, it would have to be the championship game.
Man, after that isn't that their conference tournament when they got the big fight? It was them two teams, right?
Yeah, jumping over the scoreboard and or scores table and everything else.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and again, you know what the fun thing is? As we've watched more women's basketball this year, because Bill Finley's put a very good team together with the freshmen, and they've been putting it more on the front lines. It's been on
Yep.
ESPN and ESPN2 more than like, hey, there's literally no other men's games going on. I guess we'll put on number 1 UConn, number 2 Tennessee, and that's the only game you'd ever see.
Yep.
But there's a lot more storylines with a lot more, I would say, bigger names right now, than the men's side, because everyone that is name worthy on any school, they're typically just going pro the next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan thinks it's the NFL thing. They've already got the script, and South Carolina's going to pull Ron Artest during the conference championship game.
What
after
color?
Angel Reese shuts him down.
I'm just looking at the color here of the logo, just like the Super Bowl logo. So this is black and orange. Now, Iowa State's alternate color is black. Just saying.
You know who's orange on the other side? Texas.
Oh God, no.
Or Chattanooga.
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah, I'm go. Speaking of orange, the Syracuse Orange women are. I guess it's just the orange because it was politically incorrect to say orange men.
No, I don't know what the women's logo looks like. I'm looking at the men's.
Oh, women's is the same thing, blue with orange on the outside over in Cleveland. God, what a terrible location to do the national championship.
Yeah, so I'm looking for black jerseys.
Oregon State, they're number 3 seed, but they have to go through South Carolina.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
You know who's orange and black? Princeton. You know who they play in the second round? Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, Princeton's going to win that game because I'm pretty sure they have some girl named like Caitlin Clark. They're going to do a Clark versus Clark storyline. I'm already seeing it right now.
The script says get them to play each other, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, San Diego State men's black jerseys in Florida. So there's your orange.
Sorry, Iowa State. It was told in the logo.
Yep. Darn it.
Even though it was just proven in the Super Bowl this year. So.
Yeah. Well, we're on to them, so they got to do something different.
Yeah. No, exactly. You got to switch it up a little bit.
Yep.
Well, who are you realistically? You said you've already filled out your bracket. Who do you have in your Final Four right now?
Alabama.
Yep.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Kentucky. And Iowa State.
Interesting.
And Iowa State.
Over?
What's that?
Iowa State over who?
In the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four?
Oh, no, I was just because you have Iowa State winning it. Who do you have them beating?
Kentucky.
All right, little revenge from the Royce White game.
From the Royce White, Anthony Davis game.
Yep, over that damn unibrow.
Yep. I have Iowa State beating South Dakota State, Drake, Illinois, San Diego State.
Yeah.
And Bama.
Because again, if we played BYU a third time, I don't know if we beat them. I'm confident about any other team. Yep. BYU, same thing with Drake. I think we would beat them because I think our defense would shut them down. But I'm gonna tell you, they would make it scary in the second half. They'd probably have a lead at some point, and we would get that late game streak that we usually get. But God, they would make it a good game.
Yeah, they wouldn't play it. It wouldn't be at Omaha, so it wouldn't be like a home game.
Yeah.
BYU's got that big dude that they just run pick and rolls with. Like,
God, that Khalifa, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's his name. I could not remember his name. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's a senior though. Because if not, holy shit, they got another year of an amazing center in there, man.
Well, it's BYU. He's probably 27.
And he's already gone on his mission. He's gonna be fine. $50 on the beach first round to beat Arizona. I love it actually.
Oh, Long Beach State University Dirt Bags. Hell yeah.
No, did you know that their logo is it's not like the beach, it's the beach. Uh what's the animal that doesn't change? I was about to say geese, but that's changes from goose.
What?
What's an
Like
animal that
deer.
yeah, they're that's what they are. The sandy they're just the beach though. Multiple deer is called deer. Multiple beach is called beach, I guess.
Huh. Now, that's
Yeah,
Long Beach
their
State.
logo is beach, or not logo, mascot is beach.
They used to be the Dirt Bags.
That's just like, did you ever see the Barbie movie?
No.
The Ryan Gosling Ken, they all have different jobs. His job is just beach, so that's the same thing as Long Beach State. Their mascot is just beach.
There you go.
No, but they're the team that has the 17-year coach. I don't think they'd ever made it, which is why they're firing him. Now he makes it after being fired. He's technically not on their staff right now. So what worries me, Spence, is I don't know if they're going to allow him to coach in that game because he's no longer a employee of the school. They allowed him under special circumstance to coach the tournament. I'm gonna have to do some research to see if they allow the guy to coach in the tourney, the NCAA tourney.
So it looks like just their baseball team is called the Dirt Bags.
The teenage dirtbags.
I think that's just a great name.
I do. It sounds like a very minor league baseball team name.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. I mean, if they wanted to change Iowa State to the Dirt Bags, I'd say do it tomorrow. Sweet.
If we ever change our name, I think we just change it from Cyclone to the Derechos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing more Derechos have gone through Iowa in the last 5-6 years than Cyclones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, than Cyclones. But I mean, that would be, I think, way cooler. Because then you also have to look up what a derecho is. Like, holy shit, it's way more powerful than a twister.
Yeah. What the hell's that?
Yeah.
What would the mascot be though? Like the logo? Did you think you just leave it as I State?
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
You know what I was just talking about at work today. I think because I really don't like the iState logo. I wouldn't say hate, but it's a very weak one. And if you're looking at a brand awareness, you're gonna go, if it's anyone outside of the state, they're gonna go iState, Idaho, Illinois. They're gonna go for all of the Indiana. They're gonna go for all these bigger states before you get to Iowa. I think if you just added the cardinal and gold, but you just put the state of Iowa behind the I state, I think that would look that much cleaner, as well as immediately go, oh, it's the state of Iowa. Like Indiana State did the same thing. Their I is the state of Indiana.
Yep. No, I like that too. Just put just an Iowa right behind it.
Yep. It is such an easy fix for them, and we can't change it now. This is just hypothetical. I think that would have looked so much cleaner, and you immediately answer the question of what I state it is.
Just like this. Here's another one. It's Idaho, the Vandals.
Ooh, yeah, I Vandals.
Yeah. Now, Cardinal Gold. Geez, black and gold. That could be the Iowa Vandals.
Yeah, the Iowa Hawk Vandals.
Yep.
Oh, goodness gracious. Where is it at? I can't think of the account, but there's one where I saw it and it just inspired me. I think if we could ever change it, would. But I don't know, man. I'll be honest. Go ahead.
Go back to the walking sigh. I love that.
I think you just do walking sigh. It's just so much more well known for us. But again, if we're a strong enough brand where we can't change our logo again because everyone recognizes it, we're doing something good here.
Yeah, I'm okay with keeping it if that's the reason.
We've talked about this several times before because also this week, everyone's going, I can't believe Jamie Pollard let this happen. It's like, do you think he just goes into that room and goes, we should be a 1 seed? And they go, no, fuck you. And he goes, okay, I'm just going to be a cuck and walk. No, you can't be in there while your team is being talked about. And everyone's like, Jamie failed us again. It's like, I don't think. Hey, every AD has misses on hires unless you just have all the money in the world, and even then, look at how much Texas fails. Ohio State's probably the only university I can think of that has like not failed a lot at any level. And even when they do, they just have the money where they can get rid of it, so it doesn't matter if they fail or not, right?
Yep.
I feel like Jamie's done a really good job with his hiring. Not only, I mean, I think it's down to teams that had a bowl team, men's and women's basketball, and a wrestling championship. It's two total teams. If you take wrestling out, because I know it's not a moneymaker, there's only 12 total universities at any level that did that.
Yep.
So it's just like to say that he's failing us in any ways. It's just been rubbing me wrong. It's like, oh, Jamie's not the dude. If you have success in these three main sports, it's paying for everything else. So we're doing just fine. And really, there's no reason to doubt that we're not going to be right back where we are next year.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Jamie didn't have anything to do with this seed because I think you're kicked out of the room when they start talking about your school.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was in there lobbying for his school to be number one. And he's like, okay, well, I guess the lowest number two will settle for it. He didn't have anything to do with it.
No, exactly. So, I'm trying to go through. I mean, honestly, I'm going through. Is there any like major upset that I've already talked about? I think Drake's pretty much a lock, just in my opinion. Is there any
I got
major like
Drake.
11, 12 seed, maybe more than that? I know Spence said he's putting a lot of money on Long Beach State, which Arizona's known. I think last year was they shit the bed in the first round too. Is there
Yeah.
any other major seed that you're looking at that you are thinking that they're going to pull off a major upset? We talked
Um,
a little bit.
I've got a few. I got North Carolina State 11 seed beating 6 seed Texas Tech. Watching what
Yeah.
they did in the ACC tournament, and they have that big dude he's a problem.
Mhm.
What else did I have here?
Especially if that Baycott couldn't stop him, who on Texas Tech is going to stop him, dude?
Exactly. McNeese State over Gonzaga because Gonzaga, Oregon, number 11, Oregon is going to win.
I'm pretty sure every year that coach at Oregon has made the tournament, he's won at least one game. So that's a very solid one as well.
Yep, and Drake's going to win. So I got a few.
God, how would you feel if you're Washington State? You get a 7 seed. You played in a pretty strong conference for the last time ever, Conference Champions,
Yep.
and you lose to a Missouri Valley team. You don't know where a Drake is, and then you're done, and you go to the Pac-2 after this.
I mean, that game is in Omaha. Every Iowa State fan is going to be there. It's going to be a home game for Drake.
As much as we're worried about like I don't want to play Drake, we're gonna root for the game so we can beat their ass in the next round.
Yeah, it's going to be like a home game for them too.
Yeah, I feel like this time around we all got through the initial oh shit 2 seed. We know what happened the last time we were 2 seed, but like and oh shit whenever we have high expectations, we're Iowa State, we're gonna UAB blah blah blah. It's like this is the first time I felt that when I'm listening to consensus of fans, it's going, no, we're gonna kick their ass. Like I'm not worried anymore. You just saw all it took for us was to beat the number 1 team in the country by 30 points. But this is the first time I feel we're that's all it took. That's where I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yep, I like it.
So I think the one that I really love for like a lower seed to win, I think James Madison has a pretty good shot. If I absolutely had to choose one, because as much as I think Samford, we were just talking earlier about the 3 ball, and Kansas is dealing with injuries, and really their best player is a fat, slow center.
Yeah.
I think Kansas just pulls that one out. That seems to be what they always do. Probably my second of 3 is probably like Grand Canyon. They score a lot of points, and St. Mary's. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like they're both the same size school, but it's just like I feel like Grand Canyon just has something there. And maybe this is just me trying to ease up our trip to the Final Four if it ever were to happen. for some reason that Auburn, everyone is on top of Auburn being this great school. I don't know why Yale. It just screams like that's going to be the biggest upset because
Yeah.
there's even some 14, 15 seeds where it's like there I can see them with their play style. I don't know why that Yale's is speaking to me.
The thing that I wanted to pick Yale on that one too. Just I like to see the Ivy League win in the tournament. It's just like it took a buzzer beater for them to beat Brown in their conference championship game. So I was like, I don't
But
know.
isn't that how it goes? One wins the SEC, one barely skates into the tournament. They overlook them because it's SEC, and all of a sudden the Brainiacs are fucking beating you.
Huge Yale fan right here, right now. I guess my bracket might not be 100%. You're talking me into it.
Like I said, there's
Handsome,
no. Go
handsome
ahead.
Dan, handsome Dan, gonna win.
I'm double checking something. I'm pretty sure. Double check it. I thought for some reason I was looking at Yale and Oklahoma stole something from them. I thought it was the fight song. Maybe I can't remember. I'll look it up. I don't want to throw anything out there and then get sued by Oklahoma because they're not going to the NIT, so they got plenty of time to look for libel and slander and stuff.
Yeah, they just
How,
turned it down.
how do you feel about that, man? Like, I know the NIT isn't the most prestigious thing, but it's just like if you're a senior on that team and everyone just decides to give up on the season, like, oh,
Yeah,
cool, so I'm just done because you didn't want to play a little bit more, or if you succeed, you're gonna play in Madison Square Garden. That would be terrible for recruiting to play on the East Coast and the mecca
yep.
of basketball.
Yeah, I wonder who decides that. Like, who says we're skipping the NIT?
Like
You
I don't
know,
know.
because like you said, like I doubt it's the players because there's going to be players that want to keep playing. Like,
Yeah,
and like, hey, it could be like a bowl game. If you don't want to play, then don't play. Just sit.
yeah.
If
Sit
you're going to
out.
transfer. If you don't, the coach, if you don't want to coach, sorry, don't coach. But the people that want to be there can go and they can play a basketball game.
Fuck it. Exactly. I don't think anyone would be mad. And sure, well, whatever. You have a first game exit. If you're a freshman, if your red shirt's already burned, why the fuck would you not try and get one game out there for tape? I
Yeah,
mean, you can transfer anywhere now, man. Like you get some good tape versus. I don't have the NIT in front of me. I can't even think of like what school you put. You get some good tape against Providence, North Texas. Who cares, man? Like you just get some tape out there. You get a couple. You get a couple reps. Your coach gets to see if you get 1 to 4 games. Hey, what's this freshman actually got? Hey, is this sophomore going to be worth it, or should we kind of push him to like, hey, maybe you should transfer out? Like that just makes no sense, man. And I don't
yeah,
think there's any brand. The only brands I would accept that sit out of the NIT, you have to have won a national title, or like you could even say whatever Final Four or something. Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, they should always reject it. Their brand is way too big for it. But like St. John's, no. And I'm trying to think of like some other like coastal team. Villanova, they didn't. They were in the title game less than 4 years ago. They're
yep,
playing the NIT. You're saying Oklahoma's too good for the NIT, but Villanova,
yeah,
who's actually playing for titles and has won titles, isn't. If this was Oklahoma getting invited to the Cure.com Bowl, yeah, I can see why they would reject it. That makes sense. But this isn't football; it's basketball, and you're not. You. When was the last time they're super relevant? Blake Griffin.
yeah. So 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean Blake Griffin's pretty much a journeyman now, man. Like you're well past that, and you're on a different coach, and maybe honestly they just didn't want that coach to like get expose them for any more. I don't know. It didn't sit well that they just sit out. I know they're
Yeah,
going to the SEC, but like man, just what these kids are getting NIL money. They're getting paid for it anyways. Why are you not playing? Your coach is getting paid for it. You're I can't imagine in the 2 weeks that you'd be doing the NIT tournament and getting national exposure playing on national television that you're going to get that much better recruiting done.
yeah. You better be hitting the transfer portal real hard looking in these coming weeks.
I know that the crazy thing is transfer portal opens this week, man.
It
For
opened
college basketball.
today.
Yeah, today. Is that not like why can't they just make it? Same thing with like football. I get why football they can because they have spring semester they have to get to. This is different. You're in the middle of a semester and you're going to
Yeah.
transfer. Like,
Yeah.
makes no fucking sense, man.
Make it after the Final Four, the Monday after.
Exactly, man. After the Final Four, whatever. It's there's a lot of things. I don't want to even be bringing this down. It's just one of those things like so like whatever. We're just gonna have to get used to it, man. This is a transfer portal. It's here to stay. Same thing with paying these players. It's good. It's here to stay. It's
Yep.
a good thing, but sometimes they make dumb decisions like that.
Yep.
Anything more on the men's bracket you want to talk about?
Got nothing.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was just, I mean, I'm looking at the odds for the Maryland Iowa State game. We're the 7 seed, Maryland's 10 seed.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the matchup prediction. They have Maryland slightly favored at 50.9% to win it, and we're 49.1. Like, I don't know if we could have made it any closer of a matchup there. But looking at our last 5 games, I mean, Iowa State's 4-1, only losses to 1 seed Texas.
Yep.
Maryland's 3-2. Their only losses are at Indiana. I off the top of my head, I don't know what their seed is. I know they're a top 6 seed.
Yeah.
And Nebraska, I think they're a 5 seed. So,
and they absolutely Maryland just blew out Ohio State by like 20 in the tournament.
I did not see that until just now.
Yeah.
So
they're not bad.
No, they're not bad, I would say, and I hope they don't look ahead. The only thing that we really have an advantage over them is going to be just traveling, but we're both going back 2 hours. We're going 2 hours. They're going 3 hours back on their normal Eastern time.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Maryland's schedule here just to see what their overall record is, or if they had any like major wins or losses. Lost at Nebraska, lost to Ohio State, lost to Indiana, lost to Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana, Nebraska. I mean, they kind of remind me of us, man. They beat everyone they were supposed to, and they lost to some really good teams. I mean, their first 5 games, they have a loss at South Carolina, a loss at UConn, a win versus Syracuse, who is a top 5 seed, or a 6 seed, I believe, and then a loss versus number 23 Washington State. I mean, like, even they're out of conference, they were playing some tough teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a loss to South Carolina and UConn in the first couple games, like, those are arguably the 2 biggest brands in women's college basketball history.
Yeah. You take out South Carolina, UConn, Iowa, and Ohio State. Those are 5 of their 13 losses, and they're top 2 seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to play lights out. I'm going through their roster right now. They only have 1 player over 6'2". It's a freshman center, and I don't know if she. I'll be honest, I don't know if she plays. But I mean, it seems like size wise, they don't have anyone that's just going to tower over. It's like Stanford has the really tall center. But
sounds like Audie Crooks is going to have herself a day.
That's what I'm fingers crossed, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the center. She only averages 3 minutes a game.
Perfect.
So, holy shit, dude! They have a lot of guard play though, dude. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 guards averaging over 12 minutes a game.
Wow.
So, I mean, they go deep in their bench. I mean, they're going to stay fresh. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, let's be honest. If like in the middle, is Audie going to be able to keep up with that pace if it's a lot of smaller guards? She can stand her own against anyone, I feel like, in the middle. But, just as well, Emily Ryan. Every time I tell someone with watching Iowa State, first time they see it, they go, God, that Emily Ryan, she's just a dog. She just she zips in and out. She's just got that speed, and I'm glad to hear she's coming back now.
I was going to say, and she's coming back.
Oh, we're blessed to have her back, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm looking at some of these stats. I don't really know too much about. Shocker, I didn't watch a lot of Maryland basketball, but I'm feeling pretty confident in our chances here, man.
Yeah, me too. I think we'll win one. Who would Iowa State play in the second round?
What's that?
Who would Iowa State play in the second round?
Stanford.
Stanford, yeah. And it's at home. Like, it's in Stanford. It's a home game for them.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. And again, are we gonna try? Like, honestly, for women's basketball and cross country, are we gonna travel that well?
No.
I don't
There'll be
think so.
fans there, but not
Yeah, but
enough.
it's gonna be exactly. But it's gonna be like it's in Los Angeles. It's in the one spot where you could just fly directly in, but
Yeah.
I don't see it, man.
Not when you could just drive to Omaha.
How you can just try, but everyone's
Yep.
booking all their hotels in Omaha. They can't waste their time in Los Angeles. What do they got out there? Beaches? Nah.
Yeah. That's why they don't go to the games.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to fly out there and then just accidentally go to the beach instead.
It's why all Kansas State. It's why all you Iowa State nerds go to the Big 12 championship tournament because you don't got beaches.
This is how it would go. If you traveled to Los Angeles to go to that game, you'd be called up for going. You went to Los Angeles to watch a women's basketball game and not go to the beaches. It's like, well, so how do you win this game?
Yeah.
You never win, by the
No,
way. You
you
always
can't.
lose if you engage with fucking trolls, especially ones that have wheat stalks in their name.
Yeah. Quit being such a loser, Bryant.
Fucking idiot. Supporting your team. Me being an alumni from Iowa State. Yeah, it'd be terrible if I just went and support them. Fucking moron.
Loser.
Oh shit! Well, your voice shot yet, man? I know you said you were feeling sick earlier,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. My voice,
well, I
chest,
say
my
we've
face.
been we've been yammering for an hour. What do you say we just cut it off here?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Cool. So, well, shoot, I appreciate everyone joining us here. We're gonna we'll have a follow up next week. I don't know what day. We'll have to figure out what the games are and work from there. So we're a little off schedule, but do appreciate everyone that is joining us throwing in some comments, and we'll see you next week.
And all the bots, tell your friends.
Thank you, Sexbots, for
Yep.
joining us. All 40 of you. I think we had quite a few that were joining us live, but a lot more
44.
were Sexbots.
Yep.
Basketball takes in bio here.
See you next week.